Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's video recording of the AA Big Book. We're going to be doing a quick meeting. We'll try to stick to around 7 minutes. Let us open this meeting with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right now. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problems and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to start drinking. Welcome today. We're ready to rock and roll. Fernando, alcoholic. I got 26 years in recovery, and some of the prayers that changed my life when I came in were the third step prayer. Was remarkable. It was like I was done. Alcohol had boiled me. I was boiled in alcohol when I came in. I didn't have keys, phone. I was barely hanging on to a job. It's like a string, you know. I had a union job, but because, you know, I was feeling diesel because my license was suspended. And I got my first DUI racing 55 Chevy that I put a new engine in. You know, I'm very proud of that, huh? I lost my truck driver job, like I said. I had never messed around with rebuilding a car, and I bought a 55 Chevy in East LA for $100. And for 5 years, I drank trying to put that car together. And for 2 years, it sat in my driveway, and I was a door away from the local beer liquor store. They sold liquor. One of my kids was kind of born there, and my second boy, and I took him in my arms to the store, bought beer. Everybody said congratulations, and he started to grow up, and he started to walk on his own, and then he would walk in front of me to the go and stand right in front of the beer case, what I would open up. It was the old kind, and he's standing there and he looked with his eyes and everything, and I was able to hold him in my hand like this, and he stand up, and I do this like a broom, right? And he just hang on with his head, and then those were happy times. But then beer stopped working. Alcohol turned against me, and everything turned upside down. The wife started going discoing with the gals next door. I started brawling and fighting. I started going out, and the kids started suffering. They weren't being cared for, you know. That boy grew up to be, let's say, 6-8 months when he was walking, and one of the neighbors came screaming, and I was working under the car, and she's supposed to be watching him, and he was under a car doing mechanic work out in the street in heavy traffic with his diaper, you know, no t-shirt or anything. And a neighbor kept screaming, "I can't believe it, you know, I could have started my car and ran out of there. There's a toddler down." And I screamed like crazy, "Where's that wife?" And, you know, that was our MO since I was, you know, as long as I can remember. The family life was always screaming and yelling and beer and hatchets flying and stuff. So it was no different than my upbringing. I've been drinking a lot of tea and coffee this morning. Anyway, I got my first DUI, and then I got my second DUI, and then when I came in Alcoholics Anonymous, I was long overdue. And I knew that I belonged there. I knew in my heart that I must have drank about 80 times before they caught me again. I don't drive Chevys no more because you get DUIs in Chevys. I got a DUI in my 55 Chevy, and then I got another second DUI on a brand new Chevy pickup truck, which I plowed into my neighbor's fence, and that's how I got to AA, and here I am. That was a long time ago, but today I have 26 years recovery. I'm going to open up random, and then we're going to have fun reading from this book. Remember, there's 42 stories. This is a very simple textbook, This is how we recovered, is by humbly applying ourselves on a daily basis to enjoy the fellowship, the laughter. And you hear stories like this, you know. We call them war stories, you know, and stuff like that. When I just crazy war stories. I have so many stories, you know, that it boggles the imaginations. If perhaps all the books in the world cannot contain all my stories, I have an incredible amount of stories that. So we'll enjoy ourselves if I can organize them. That's my prayer today. If I can organize my prayers and my thoughts, we'll have a blast. I love stories. I love to hear your drunken log. You know how you got stuck in the air conditioning ducket, you know, and I remember reading the newspaper, and they said they found this man drunk, suffocated in an air conditioning duct. You know, he was trying to do some robberies in the office, and I go, oh, that was me. I got stuck in there, you know. It was so small, the opening. You ever hear those people say, well, such and such escaped jail through the air conditioning duct? And I said, and I can relate to that. Yeah, you know, I didn't escape jail, but those things you can get out of there if you squeeze your body like a worm. And that's what I was, a drunken worm with no backbone. And the only way I got backbone is by drinking. That's an incredible story, but it's for another time. And the cops came. And funny thing about that is that I got into this office trailer building. I had everything I wanted in life. I had those 2 boys, like I told you, the wife, everything was fine. And I couldn't just stop drinking. I drank, it was 2 in the morning, I drank everything in the house. And there was a trucking company on the other side of the liquor store. And I'm thinking, hey, everybody's asleep. I bet you they got booze inside that little trailer. That little office trailer that runs all the rental trucks and so forth. So I don't know how I got into the barbed wire area. I got in there, and then I climbed into the top of the building because I was good at getting into the buildings through the air conditioning ducts. I took the air conditioning duct, just ripped it off the roof, and then started climbing down the little, I think it's 12 and 12. It's really small. And the way you get in there, at that time I was, of course, real thin. You put your hands all the way up like this, you squeeze them hard like this, and it just doesn't seem possible right now to, and then you do it in a square, the long square, and you slide down there like a worm. Yeah, you get stuck a few places, but you can get in there. And because it was a straight fall, it was a trailer, remember, there wasn't that much material as far as in the trailer. So I can see the light from the top. I can see the light, I can see the square. And I had to pop the screen off with my foot, and then I fell down on top of the desk when I got in there. So when I see these other videos of these guys getting into these liquor stores, and they fall down from the roof and they hit the aisle full of liquor, and I go, yep, that was me. I hit that desk and rolled around. See, I can identify. It's not funny. Once I wake up and I realize, you know, that I was just an animal. And what happens? I'm in there, and guess what? I use my faith, but I use it in the wrong scenario. I used it to find more booze. I used my hopes to find more of the drink that was destroying my life. And I was going in a spiral, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop drinking. I found wild turkey, and 3/4 of a bottle full in there. And I started drinking that, and I act like I was successful. Put my feet up on the desk, started drinking. I tried the doors. All the doors were locked. They had, what do you call it, those metal doors, metal windows and stuff, like, so people won't get in there. But they didn't think about the top. So, needless to say, after I drank the whole thing, and I sang songs till the sun started coming out. And I was singing, and it was time for me to get out. I was really singing really good. I wish I could have recorded, put it on YouTube. Totally drunk, singing Memories of El Monte, Duke of Earl, sitting in the park, waiting for you, totally drunk. And I needed to get out. So I tried the door and I tried all the keys that way. I figured the keys, I didn't check the keys before I sat down and drank if they were going to open the door. I couldn't get out. None of the keys would open the door to let me out, the metal door. I said, "Oh my God!" So I had to use my faith again and put chairs and everything, and try to slide up the impossible way that I got in, and I was stuck. And the only thing that saved me was a little screw that was sticking out in the bottom, where I was able to put my foot and inch my way up, and I think, inch my way up and scraped and got up, and I was on top of the roof, and the cops were outside. I saw one cop. He jumped when he saw me on the roof. He just went like this. I startled him, and he locked the gate. I saw people when they lock gate, when they try to run after wild dogs, and they lock gates. And I jumped off the roof into some grass area. Today I limp a little because of that, and totally drunk. And because of my kids and the wife that I had there, I'm not married to her no more. Of course, I said, I can't go to jail. You ever see a person do that, like a wild animal? They can't take me to jail. And I dashed to the barbed wire, to the fence. And I ran up there, and I was so used to the old type of barbed wire, the cow one, real simple one. This is the new barbed wire, the razor one. And that stuff will hold you. You try to jump over that barbed wire and it will hold you. How do I know? I got cuts here and here, and I got cut here. It ripped all my clothes off, and I got in there and I stuck like this. It will hold you, but I was able to chew and flip over and leave a little bit of blood and skin and take off. I got away, but I paid a price. Sounds ridiculous, huh? Blood, alcohol, and tears. Got home, locked myself up, and I forgot my point I was saying. Oh yeah, and then I got my second DUI. I came to AA, and in my judgment, I belonged there. I was, because of my drinking and driving automobile, I was danger to society. Anyway, I had to make 30 visits in a year. Okay, I opened up to page 366, Fernando Alcoholic. It says right, he suggested that for me, a good starting point would simply be recognition of the fact that I had failed in running the world. In short, acceptance of the fact that I was not God. He also suggested that I might try occasionally to act as if I believed. Wow, that's huge, huh? Somewhere I had heard that it's easier to act yourself in a way of thinking than to think yourself into a new way of acting. And this made sense in the context of acting as if. Okay, let's move back to the top one, because this is huge, man. This is remarkable. This is God doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves, guys. I'm going to let you go ahead and zero in on it for a minute or two. Act as if. I tell my sponsors to carry the book around them, act as if, because you have an incredible, curious subconscious mind that's wondering why this fool is carrying this book. Who is he? He's trying to act like he's got this thing together, but all it is 42 stories, just like the one I told you about the alcoholic worm, Okay, I'm going to read from the top. It says, my sponsor was a living damper on my intolerance. But even more, he told me that it would be all right for me to doubt God, that AA was not a religious program, and to belong, I did not have to adhere to any set of beliefs. You don't have to adhere to anything. I adhered to laughter in the beginning. He suggested that for me, a good starting point would simply be recognition of the fact that I had failed in running the world. In short, acceptance of the fact that I was not God. He also suggested that I may try occasionally to act as if I believed. Somewhere I had heard that it's easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking than to think yourself into a new way of acting. And this made sense in the context of acting as if. Wow. Page 366 of the story. The story is called Tightrope. You may want to YouTube that. Maybe somebody already read it on the there for free, and you can hear it. Two things. Act as if is huge. The main thing I wanted to say is, remember I was telling you that I used faith and hope to find the alcohol? But when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, I had no more faith, I had no more hope, I had no more believer. My believer was broken. And my trust issues, I didn't trust the written material, didn't trust anything of anybody. I was so out of society that they left me alone for a year. It was like an animal. They just stapled me to the wall, bah, 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 and they spoon-fed me, AA. And I knew these guys didn't want anything. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any advice. I didn't have, all I had is bloody scars, a brand new tattoo, bleeding, and in depth, cold, naked, hungry, that kind of deal. But believing, I had no belief either. But after I was laughing a lot, then I wanted to act like I wanted to contribute something. And the only thing I can contribute is when we will hold hands and we will pray out. That was my only contribution. So what I did is I acted and prayed with, like there was something there. And it looked like they were looking up in the air and everybody was seeing something, but I couldn't see it. I said, ¿Quién sabe qué están mirando estos gringos? And I kept looking, and they were looking, and I acted like I see it. Oh yeah, ha ha ha, I see it. I didn't see nothing. About 9 months later, I saw it. I saw it, and I came to believe. And that was my sin. I did not believe in nature. I did not believe in the beauty of flowers, and I did not believe in creation. I got warped. Our natural instinct is to have hope, a little imagination, constructive imagination, faith, that you have a system. I started having faith and believe that these words in this system could get me to my imaginary, constructive things that I needed. Go to work on a daily basis. Just the simple things. Cut the grass. Maintenance in your house. Maintenance in the words you use, the loved ones. The most important people in the world were my mother, my brothers and sisters, their kids, my ex-wife, make restitution. She's doing fine today. I started praying for her. She went to college, and I prayed for a job for her. AA taught me how to pray because she was on welfare, and it was to still the craziness that I created. And I couldn't pay her the money because I was switching jobs so much. That's another story for another book in China. I'm going to cry here. But I prayed. 3 days later, she got a job, and she stood in that job for 25 years. And she bought discount things for the grandkids. I would go over there and visit, and she'd come over with my son's house and stuff, and I'd see the grandkids, and I still see the miracles working of that prayer that I did 25 years ago. She is able to buy things, discounted, because of her position, wholesale things, and she bring them in, resources. This is a beautiful world once we know the instructions. I didn't know the instructions in life. I didn't know that I had to acknowledge my higher power and say good morning and high five my higher power and get going. The other thing that I'm going to say it now because I'll forget is act as if. I have I went from I was on unemployment this time. I was driving semi, and I was getting the unemployment checks, but I was still a member of the local bank. Would you say it was bank union bank? What do you call it? Workers union or something, some kind of bank. And I had to travel to another town, so I had a nice car, and then I was selling some real estate. So I got dressed. I shined my shoes, I waxed the car, filled up with gas tank, and I acted like I was somebody, and I went across, and I had a suit with my tie and thing, and nice haircut. I went to go deposit the check into the bank. I was acting like, life was good. Very rarely was I putting on my suits anymore. I had stopped selling real estate. I was very rarely have I had a, so that day I felt like doing it. So I did it, and I went and I deposited the check. Then I went to In-N-Out, and I got myself 11 a.m., a hamburger and a shake, and my cell phone rings. And I was acting as if, and the cell phone rings, and I said, yes, I'm driving. That time they didn't have those laws. And they said, this is Fox Studios. You signed up for Central Casting over here. We need a representative to be in the show with Donald Sutherland doing, and you fit the bill. They wanted me to be a representative for the United Nations for the show. So yeah, you bet. I was ready. I looked at my gas tank. I looked at my clothes. They said, can you be here in 2 hours? And sure. I looked at myself. I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I had half a tank of gas, almost full. I came out 7 times in different shows. And, it was a blast. It was a great experience. But it proved to me that we need to act as if, okay? Act like you got this thing down, and don't make it rocket science. It's just a fundamental basis to run your life and to go places and to do things and to enjoy. I acted as if we're going to go to Hawaii. Me and the wife, I got married here, and I acted like, and I was announcing it in AA groups. Hey, there's a convention in AA, and blah, 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 get your stuff. It's going to be nice. I was acting as if I bought Croc water shoes. I'm in debt. Croc water shoes to go to Hawaii. We got there. We were invited. All of a sudden from left field. People that we had given ideas about saving their house when it was upside down, they saved it, and they wanted to bless us, and they invited us over to Hawaii, and we told them about the convention. They organized their dates. I've been there 5 times. Now today I'm working on acting. I'm going to go to the Canary Islands, and I'm acting like I'm going to the Abura Islands, St. Thomas area, and I'm acting like I have 25 tons of gold. I'm acting like I have a $100,000 red Lexus sports car, that SC 500. I'm acting as if. Don't tell no one. Keep your goals to yourself. Okay, I think we covered enough. We give AA a high scoring rate in our lives. Get your book, and let's get busy acting as if. I love you. Let's go ahead and pray the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. By the way, it's maybe 37 minutes instead. Thank you for giving me the benefit of the doubt. Love you.